Hi, happy February, everybody. I have a huge stack of books for you guys. First, you'll probably notice the decor behind me is a little different. I rearranged my office, and now if you look behind me, you might be able to see the State House. Hopefully that's not too distracting. All right, let me start with the picture books, then I'll go to the middle grade books, and then I have a few YA books for you. Are you ready? The first picture book I want to talk to you about is my favorite of the stack. It's called Supertruck, and everyone needs to buy this for summer reading because it's awesome. It's about a superhero truck. So in this city, the art is very simple and I love it. There are different kinds of trucks, and each truck has his job. The bucket truck fixes a power line, the tow truck rescues a bus, the fire truck puts out a fire, and then there's the garbage truck. He just collects the trash. Oh, but he's so important. Anyway, then there's a blizzard. It snows and snows and snows and snows, so we wouldn't know anything about that. And the garbage truck goes into a garage and comes out. Supertruck! And he saves the city. It's awesome. And so this humble little truck, which, watch this, Clark Kent glasses. I love this story because it's a hero story. It's about trucks. Your preschool kids are going to love it. And it's about this kind of humble job, and that it's heroic, just like the real garbage collectors in our real life are. So I think this book is something that you absolutely need to buy for summer reading. I think it fits into the theme perfectly, and it's good for your preschool story times. Okay, next. This book is a must purchase for all of you school librarians out there. I wish I had gotten this book a month ago so I could tell you about it before now, because it is Black History Month right now, but maybe next year. This book was written for a classroom where you can talk about Black history, one little lesson for every day of the month. That's why it's called 28 Days. It's really, really well done. You really could do one little lesson every month, every day for the month of February. There's a picture, there's a little poem, and then there's a little description of why that person is important in Black history. There's everyone from Hank Aaron to Oprah Winfrey, Wilma Rudolph, Thurgood Marshall, and then, of course, day 28 is our president, and there's a little poem about why he's important. And then, on day 29, there's a little poem about how you can make a difference in your world. I really, really love this story, this book. Each chapter is a different person that they could research. You can do a little lesson, a little introduction, read the poem, talk about the facts about why this person is important. And there's one for every day in the month of February. So I think this is a must purchase for everyone in a school library. Of course, could be good for public libraries too. It's a really good resource. Nice bibliography at the end. All right, who here is ready for spring? Anybody? Anybody? Me. All right, this book here, Finding Spring. It's always exciting when the spring books start to show up. This book here is done in that art style that's become really popular. It's the paper cuts. And if you look carefully, let's see if I can figure out which page is in the camera. If you look carefully, you can even see where some of these pages used to have writing on them, which I think is kind of cool because you can do a little lesson with the kids about how the author made this, how the illustrator made this, and how they could do their own art this way. And it's recycled, which is wonderful. So it's about this little bear, and he wants to find spring. It's winter. He goes on an adventure, and he finds some snow, and he thinks the snow is so magical. It must be spring that everyone talks about. So he gets a snowball, and he takes it back to his den, and he, see his little snowball, so cute, and he puts it by his bed and then goes to sleep, of course, for the entire winter to hibernate. When he wakes up, the snowball is gone, so he thinks spring is gone, and he's very sad. But then he goes on an adventure again with his friends to find the real spring, and it's very wonderful. The art is fantastic. Really good story time book. I highly recommend it. All right, Gail Gibbons is at it again. We love her, and this book is called The Fruits We Eat. This is nonfiction, but it's got so much information on these pages. Look at this page. It's full of stuff. And if you read just the bottom part right here, you can read it like a storybook. I mean, it's not a traditional storybook, but it's all about fruit and where they come from, why they're important, how they grow, how you harvest them, and then how they're produced in the to be processed and other things. So each page has like tons of information on it. It has little boxes with little details that you can go into for the older kids. It has information on all kinds of fruits, from cranberries to blueberries, oranges, pears, pineapple, things that kids might not talk about very much. Persimmons, kiwi, and it's got tremendous amount of information, and it's absolutely beautiful. And it's one of those rare nonfiction books you actually could do story time with, because you can read the little story on the bottom of the page, and it's gorgeous. So definitely put that one on your to purchase pile. All right, next one is called Hoot Owl, and this book is just too cute. It's called Hoot Owl, Master of Disguise. This book kind of reminds me of I'm Not Cute, with the little owl, and he thinks he's ferocious. Well, this owl also thinks he's ferocious, and he really wants to go catch himself a snack, and he thinks he's the master of disguise. He can hide from anybody. So the first thing he does is he tries to catch a bunny by dressing up like a carrot. It doesn't work, of course, and so he moves on, and he goes and he tries to sneak up on a sheep. You have to see this picture, it's hysterical. There he is, dressing up like a sheep, trying to scare the sheep. Doesn't work. Anyway, he goes on and on and on, and then at the very end, he sneaks up on a pizza, and he disguises himself as a waiter. And of course, the pizza stands still, does not run away. He gets the pizza. Yay, I'm a master of disguise. I, conquered the pizza. It's very cute. Nobody actually dies in it, which is good. Some of the kids might be a little put off by the fact that he's trying to eat the cute bunny and the cute sheep. But it's, it depends on the kids. But this is a cute story, and it's really, really funny, and you can talk about why the pizza didn't run away. All right. There's something you might not know about me. I love elephants. All elephants. Anything with an elephant on it, I have to read. So this book is called Soon, and it's about a mama and a baby elephant, and it's a wonderful story. It's very quiet, and it's about these two, and they're having an adventure, and they go out into the wilderness, and they meet some of the beasts of the jungle. They meet a crocodile, they meet a tiger, and mama protects the baby the whole time and makes noises and stomps and protects them, scares them away the whole time. And the whole time the baby's asking, can we go home soon? Can we go home soon? And then at the end, they go home, and I just love this picture. Look at that, hanging onto her tail. And they go home. At the very end, he asks, when can we go on another adventure? And she says, soon. So it's not a groundbreaking plot, but the art is beautiful, and it could be a good quiet story time, especially for families. And I just love it, partially because I love elephants. So take that as you will. All right, this book is called Home. It's a little bit on the oversized side. This is a little bit different. This is about home and what a home is. So it starts off with some homes are boats, some homes are houses, some homes are palaces, some homes are shoes, like the old lady in a shoe. So a little different, and then they start talking about real people. Some people live on the road, some are tall, short, clean, bee homes. And then this is a house of a Slovakian duchess, and this is the house of a Kenyan blacksmith, and then there's the home of a Norse god. Again, the juxtaposition of the real and the fantasy are a little strange, but the kids will like it. And then the end, it's a Moonian lives here, someone lives on the moon. But the end is the best part, because it asks, where do you live? What's your home? And why? And so I think while this book is maybe a little bit challenging, and then it's kind of put everything all together. And it's going to be a lot of things that kids haven't thought about before or haven't seen before, and it might be new to you, but the question at the end is really valid, and it could be for a good conversation, maybe a craft, a little project, and, you know, it's pretty sweet. And I think the kids will get over the whole, like, some of these are imaginary and some of these aren't. More than I would. Alright, so this book is just beautiful. It's called Monty's Magnificent Mane, and it's gorgeous. Look at that book. Even the end pages are gorgeous. Woo! I'm a sucker for good art. So this story is about Monty the lion, and he is extremely proud of his mane. Look at that. And then one day, he gets mud in his mane, and the meerkats try to help him get clean. The problem is that the meerkats have kind of a circus mentality when it comes to fashion. So they put feathers and bows and all sorts of things in his hair, and he shakes them all out because he's too cool for that. And then he goes off. He gets into a fight with the crocodile. He loses some of his hair. And then, but he saves the meerkats from the crocodile. And the meerkats want to help him fix his mane because there's now a bald spot. And so at the very end, he decides that he's just going to let his friends, his mane's fine the way it is, and he's going to let his friends play in his mane. So it's extremely cute. It's a simple story. The art is absolutely beautiful. It could make for a good animal story time, especially if you have kids who really like the lion, meerkat, Lion King kind of thing. Could be cute. All right. Ready rabbit gets ready. Can't believe I said cat. That was a slip. Ready rabbit gets ready. I don't normally like books like this, but this one is adorable. Look at that little face. This is about a rabbit, and he reminds me a lot of like Skippy John Jones-ish. He's always having fun. He's not ready. And look at his little face. So he's a little sock doll with a little white face drawn on. So he's always doing something else, something fantastic. Like he's supposed to be getting ready, and he needs to build a spaceship. Of course he does. And so he's not getting ready. And then he's supposed to be getting ready, and instead he's having an adventure. Look at his little face. So it goes on. And then, you know, his mom's always trying to get him to get ready. And then finally he's really ready for school. But in his head, he's an astronaut. It just reminds me of Skippy John Jones having adventures in his closet, or maybe Dinosaur Christmas Bedtime. I really think that your preschool and kindergarten kids will eat this up. Any kid who's ever gotten in trouble for not being ready, they're going to like this. All right, the next one, Spots in a Box. All right, this book is very cool. Look, it's got a hole in it here. Doesn't really have a purpose, but it's kind of cool anyway. So this is about a guinea fowl who was born with no spots. That's terrible. So he writes away to get more spots mailed to him. The problem is that they send spots that are too big, spots that are too sneezy, spots that are too wiggly, spots that are too shiny, and spots that are crazy. You have to see this one. That's not going to work. So at the end, he settles on these fabulous spots. Are you ready? I don't know if you're going to be able to see it enough, but these are sparkly, and they're three-dimensional, so you can feel them. So it's rough, and they're sparkly, and it's fabulous. So he decides to be a fabulous guinea fowl in the end. I like it. I think it's cute. It's a simple story. It depends on your kids, but I think it's one worth checking into. All right, that's it for the picture books I have this month. I'm going to move on to the chapter books. You ready? First, I have Half a Man by Michael Morpurgo. You know, this book, first of all, do you see the size of it? It's kind of squarish. Use my hands. It's kind of halfway between a picture book and a small chapter book. It's very slim, and it's also illustrated. I'm just going to show you these beautiful illustrations. And It's in first person, and it's about a little boy whose grandfather was burned in World War II, and so he looks kind of frightening. And this child is just afraid of his grandfather, and therefore he doesn't really interact with him. He doesn't really know him. And so this story is about when he spent the summer with him, and he really gets to know his grandfather, and what's beneath the scariness of his face. So this book has gotten a lot of praise, a lot of anticipation. And it could be good for your reluctant readers. The topic is a little heavy, though, so you might want to consider it. The writing, even though it's short, might be more like 3rd, 4th grade. But it depends on the kids. All right, next, one of my all-time favorite authors, Sarah Lean. She wrote A Dog Called Homeless, which won the Schneider Family Book Award. I love Sarah Lean. This book is about a little boy named Leo. He has 2 sisters, and he's bullied at school, and he feels just kind of invisible. And he finds this dog one day, and then he starts to make friends with some of the other kids. But in order for them to accept him, he has to tell this grand tale about how he rescued the dog. And the problem is it's a lie, and the lie doesn't sit well with him, and he has to figure out how to make peace with this lie that he's told everybody and what to do about it. In true Sarah Lean fashion, it's a quiet story. It's gotten a ton of praise, and I think it's going to be a good read. She doesn't usually disappoint. So put that one on your list. Another author that we look for, Kate Messner. She's at it again. This story, I've heard it described as both a mystery, a fantasy, and a suspense. This one is about a magic pencil, and these kids find this magic pencil, and they discover that the pencil can tell you answers. They can't tell the future. The pencil can't tell the future, but it can tell you answers that are true or false, yes or no kind of questions, which is really handy when you're trying to take a test for school. And then they start asking it more personal questions about their families, and they're trying to get answers about what's going on in their families. The problem is that every time they sharpen the pencil, it gets smaller. And what do they do if it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and disappears? And what do they do with all the truth that they're getting? It's gotten great reviews. It sounds pretty good, and it could be a good little suspense book for your middle grade readers. All right, the next book. I've never seen so much acclaim for a book. This book has gotten so many starred reviews, it's ridiculous. I haven't read anything even mediocre about this book. Everything is raving. It's called Fish in a Tree, and it's about a girl who has dyslexia. And it starts out with, everybody is smart in different ways, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its life believing it's stupid. That's the title of the book. This book has that Schneider Family Book Award kind of scent about it. I'm going to go ahead and put in a prediction there for it. I'm definitely going to get nominated, and I cannot wait to read it. So there you go. I will take a little moment to tell you that I have not read these books. These are brand new, just come from the publisher. Right now, I am under deadlines from DCF and GMBA. I'm trying to read all the nominees for this next year's list, so I haven't had a chance to read them. I am thinking about putting out another podcast of things that Sharon is actually reading and likes, because I know it's a little disappointing. But we do go through the reviews, so these are not random, I promise. All right, the next one, I have been waiting for this book for a couple of years. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, the Young Readers Edition. The adult edition, of course, has been out for a little while. This one has been promised for a while, and it just came out, I think, yesterday or the day before. I've heard fantastic things about it. And this topic could make for a really good book review, book club book, because there is an adult version, now there's a young reader's version, and I think there's a picture book version too, so you could all talk about the issues in the story and read different books. So I'm really happy to see this one's finally out. Next, how about some Gordon Korman? Gordon Korman, at it again. He's got a new series. This is the first book in his series called Masterminds. It takes place in a city called Serenity, New Mexico, and in Serenity, everything is perfect. Everyone tells the truth, everyone has a job, everything is perfect. The only problem is that you have a bunch of children who want to push the limits. So they go to the edges of Serenity to try to see if they can see outside. And they find all sorts of mysterious things. And this is going to be a series. So there's going to be all kinds of adventures. I really like this kind of book because, you know, the dystopia science fiction, they're not going anywhere. But a lot of the older middle school and high school stuff has such heavy, dark, violent topics that those younger kids just can't get into them. But this is an example of one of those middle grade books that has the same kind of really interesting discussion points without all the violence and heavy topics. So, yeah, Gordon Korman. Plus, you know it's going to be funny. So, yeah, it's a good one. Series to keep an eye out for. All right. Twerp. You loved it. This is the sequel, Finding the Worm. It's purple, my favorite color, in case you couldn't tell. And it looks fabulous. It takes place in the 1960s, of course, just like Twerp. This time he's been accused of vandalism, and he's very upset because he's been unjustly accused, and he has to write an essay about what he's done. And so it's, again, he's in writing, talking about, you know, his troubles and his family and all his issues taking place growing up in the 1960s. Could be a good one to look into if your kids liked Twerp. All right. Another one to keep in mind. Paper Things. This is the same author as Small as an Elephant, which if you've read that is wonderful. The topic is tough, and so is this one. This one deals with the topic of homelessness. In this story, a mom dies, and there are two siblings, and the main character in this story has an older brother who's 19, and she promises the mom when she dies that she'll do two things. Number one, that she and her brother will always stay together, and number two, she will apply and get into the gifted school because she's really smart. Unfortunately, the brother does not get along with the grandmother that they're living with after the mom dies, so moves out. So she has to go with him because she made a promise to stay with him. And the problem is that he can't get a job, he has nowhere to live, they're living in their car, they're living on people's couches, and they're essentially homeless. And the problem with that is her grades start to slip, she's struggling in school, and she's not sure she's going to be able to get into the gifted school. So this is an important topic, and it could be a tough one for kids and for us. So it's a little thicker. It's probably more middle school than early reader. You know, her stuff tends to be a little on the easier side in terms of language, but the topic seems a little tough. But it looks good, and if it's anything like Small as an Elephant, it's going to be wonderful. All right, moving on to high school. You ready? Marcus Sedgwick. He wrote Midwinter Blood, won the Prince Award a couple years ago. His stuff's a little weird. I won't lie to you. And this book looks a little weird too, but maybe in a good way. I'm going to tell you about it, and you can decide for yourself whether it's appropriate for your library. It's told in 4 episodes, and each episode takes place in a different period in history, and each story is connected to the next one with a spiral. And the spiral evokes images of Fibonacci series, DNA, things like that, which is very compelling. So the first story is prehistoric, and it's the spiral is connected to it with the writing implement that the girl uses to write in the sand, and then it connects to the next story through a hanging rope, someone who's been accused of witchcraft, and then it connects to somebody who's in a madhouse, he's a poet, and then it connects to someone who's in a spaceship trying to find another planet for the humans to colonize. So the reviews are fabulous. Like I said, his stuff's a little strange, a little esoteric. If you have kids who like Midwinter Blood, if you have kids who like this kind of oddball stuff that's, you know, hard to wrap your head around, a little philosophical, then you should definitely get it. If you don't have those kind of readers, this one might sit on your shelves. So, just so you know. Alright, the last one. Are you ready? Soul Print. This book, the concept just totally blows my mind. This is about a girl who's been imprisoned her whole life for crimes she committed in a past life. So in this story, there's rebirth, reincarnation, but your soul has to pay for crimes you committed in a previous life. So anyway, she's been imprisoned, and because the society is worried that she is tainted by her previous life and the terrible things that her soul has allowed her to do, but she doesn't think it's fair, obviously, and she tries to escape. But then she starts to wonder if maybe she has been affected by the horrible things her soul has done. So this one sounds like an interesting topic. Who knows whether it'll be good. This kind of dystopia is definitely not going away, and this one seems like an interesting concept. So it got good reviews. If you got kids who are into it, go for it. All right, that's all I have for you today. Like I said, I'm going to put out a new series of books that Sharon is reading. They're not necessarily like the brand new ones that you'll be purchasing, but they could be ones that you can recommend for your kids. I try to do my best to go through the reviews and pick out books that I'm excited about and that you might be excited about as well. But I hope this helps you with your collection development. If you have any questions, please contact me. Here you go. Let's see if I can center it. There you go. Email me, call me anytime, and be sure to check out our new website, libraries.vermont.gov. The website is in maintenance mode right now. It's brand new. It's very organized and much better than it was before. But if there's anything you can't find, you're looking for, suggestions, please let us know. I've already gotten lots of suggestions from you guys. Someone asked that I put a list of the books that I talk about in these podcasts and put them in with them. I was happy to do that. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. And so just keep those suggestions coming. Have a great day.